Sorry, it's not getting. Hey guys, welcome back to Python Crash Course Part 2. So in the Part 1, we discussed about variables and the different kind of variables that there are in Python and what you can do with those variables. We tested out the arithmetic operators and stuff. We printed out values. Now in this video, let's get started with getting user input in runtime. So as you can see on the screen, I have declared a variable a and set it to an input function with a string passed in the parentheses, that is enter a number within quotations. Now what this input function does is that it takes input from the user during runtime, and the string in the parentheses is what we use to show the user when we are getting the input. So if I hit run, it's gonna say enter a number. Now we pass this string in the input function, so that string is showing right now as we are giving it input. So if we give an input, say 10, so it prints out 10, as you can see from the code below. Now as you can see from this print function, you can probably guess that it does print 10. So moving on, just one thing to keep in mind is that whenever we use input function, it returns a string variable. So the thing is that the number which we input is stored in a as a string. So if we print out the type of this variable, we can see, okay, I'll save it. You can see I'll hit 10. We can see that it's class string. It's a string type variable. So in order to remedy this, now if you want to do any kind of arithmetic operations on this particular variable, you have to convert it to a int type of variable. Now to do that, we have to use typecasting. Now this is what I'm going to show you today, guys. So to typecast to an int type of variable, we just use the int function, int of input, and then we use the quotation marks to enter a number, which will be which will be shown on the screen as we are giving it the input. So let's save and run it. So enter a number, I use 10 again. So see, that gives us now int class of variable. Now that gives us variable of type integer. Okay, so this is typecasting. You can also cast different types of variable, like you can also cast float here. So if I save this, run it, I'm gonna enter a number 10. So see, it's class float. Now that is basic syntax for typecasting an input. So let's go ahead and declare another variable b. So we're going to declare this as another input. We're going to write enter second number, like that. Okay, let's go ahead and change this to int, and again changing it to int. And let's do an arithmetic addition. So we're gonna make another variable c that will be equal to a plus b. So we're gonna print out c, and we're gonna print the type of c. Type c. Yeah, save this, run. So if I enter a number, say 20, and enter second number, say 30, it's gonna give the result 50, and the class is of int. So here you go. You can do now. That's it. That's typecasting. That's input. Yeah. So another type of arithmetic operation that I missed out in the first video was that modulus. So modulus is represented by this, and what the modulus function, what the modulus operator does is that it prints out the remainder of a division. Let's hit run and I'll show you along the way. Let's hit run. So now what I said was that the modulus function returns an remainder. So if we divide 5 with 2, it's gonna give 1. The remainder is gonna be 1. That's what it is. And again, then let's cancel this out. We're gonna test another number. Let's hit enter a number. We're gonna give 5. Second number is gonna be 3. So here, as you can see, it gives out the remainder. 1 times the remainder of this division is 2. So that's the modulus operator. And yeah, that's the modulus operator. What can I show you next? Okay, let's move on to lists. Okay, so delete all that. So let me just explain very quickly what is lists. Now, if you have come across the word array, which is used in other different kind of programming languages, then the same thing is then the list is the exact same thing of the array, but we use lists in Python. Now, one difference between arrays and lists is that list is not fixed. The number of elements in a list is not fixed. It can be elements can be appended after the list. So if our last element is say 5, we can append another element, say 2, after that. So the length keeps changing as you append new elements. So to show you, you can declare a basic list like this, and you can also put elements like a dot append. The append function does all the work. The append function, as you can see from the name, appends elements to this array. So as you can appends elements to this list, I'm sorry. So as you can see, right now the list is completely empty. It has nothing in it. I just declared it, and if I print it out again, so let's see it's 10. The array was empty before that. Now let's do one thing. Let's remove this statement and I'll show you that the array was empty. So in order to do that, I'm not just gonna backspace it or just not gonna delete this. Let me show you another way of doing it, that is comments. Now in Python, you can give comment by using this hash or sharp symbol, whatever you call it. Now this is used as a comment, is a single line comment. So what comment does is that it tells the Python interpreter to completely ignore the line which starts from this symbol, this hash symbol. The Python interpreter completely ignores the whole line. So this whole line, so Python interpreter is gonna pretend that this whole line doesn't exist at all. So it's just gonna print the empty array that we have there. So let's save it, hit F5. See, we have nothing in the element. So we have no elements in the list. We have no elements in the list. This thing is called comments. So if we remove this and hit run again, it's gonna save. All right, it's 10. So we went over array. So we went over lists and comments. So let's do tuples. Now tuples are almost the same as lists. They're just different in some ways. Like lists are not changeable. They are not changeable, they are not appendable, they are fixed all the time, every time. So if you declare a list, you declare a tuple like hey, comma, hi. Okay, this is how you append. This is how you declare tuples. Let's see, hello. Okay, we're gonna print it again. 5, hit F5. So here you go. Here's a tuple. We can also use type function to check the tuples, to check that it is indeed a tuple. And see, here's a class of tuple. We can do the same thing with lists again. So let's create another list. Let's say 10, 20, 30. Okay, that's how you declare a list with elements in it. So let's save it. 5, and see, it's a class of list. Now we can also have strings and other types of variables in lists. So if you just change this element to say hello, it is indeed a string, and we're gonna hit 5, and it shows hello with the other 2 elements that are in there. If we just check the type of this variable, hit 5, this is a list. So lists support multiple types of variables in the same list. So yeah, so multiple types of variables are supported in list. And let's see what we can do for tuples. So to change this into a tuple, we can just just do that. Let's just print a for now. 5. So it's printing a. All right. So if we check the type of this variable again, yep, indeed it's a tuple. So here we go. So okay, so let me show you another thing that you have access to when you are using these type of data structures. Maybe let me show you list once again. Okay, here we go, list 10, 20, 30. That's not what it does. So list is basically just a collection of variables. Now the collection of variables is formed with elements. You have 10 as an element, 20 as an element, 30 as an element. All of them are integer type. So yeah, all of them are integer type. Now collection of variables, so is tuple. Tuple is collection of not changeable variables. So you have access. Let's delete this print function. So you have access to all the elements in an list like so, but now you have access to all the elements in a list, but to access them you have to use what is known as index. Now lists uses indexing to identify each of their elements. So let's see, the first element starts from 0. So this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So if now we can access any element by just using the square brackets, and we can say 0. So in this case we are accessing the first element, or the element with the index of 0. So the first element of the array is 10. So if we print it out, we should see 10. So let's see. Yup, it does. Prints out 10. Now if we enter 1, we save and we print. So here's 20, and if we index it as 2, hit F5, we get 30. Now another function that you have access to when you're working with a list is length. So we can very easily verify the length of an list. So we can very easily verify the length of a list with just using the length function. So that is len with open and closing parentheses. Now we can pass in a, the list a. Now we can print it out. Now this array has a length of 3. First element, second element, third element. There are 3 elements, so the length of the list is 3. So if we hit save and hit 5, so as you can see, it's 3. The same is true for tuples. So if we change this to parentheses, we hit run, we can also see 3. Another thing to know, okay, we can change the elements of a list, but we cannot change the elements of an array. So to demonstrate that, we can see, let's go with the first element. Let's assign the first element of the list a different number. Let's assign it 50. Okay, so we are going to print out the whole array. Hit save, 5. See, the first element is 50 right now. It was 10 before, it's 50 right now. But if we do the same thing with tuple, let's see what it does. We hit save, F5. Yeah, it gives error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So yeah, the tuple are not changeable. Tuple cannot be changed. They're constant, they're unchangeable, and their length remains constant. Yeah. This is how, with the square brackets, you can access any element in a list. Another way of storing data is dictionary. So let's delete this. Show you dictionary real quick. Now dictionary uses a key value pair to store data. So if we say data, give a colon and hit 30, that's a dictionary right there. That's a dictionary. You hit save and 5. It's printing out the data as 30. That's dictionary. We can check the type of this variable to verify what kind of variable it is. Hit enter. Now this is dictionary. We can see dict means dictionary. And we can also assign different key value pairs. Another maybe info. We can also assign strings to this. Info, hey there. Assign this, hit F5. Let's print it out before. Yup, it prints out fine. You can also access the elements in the dictionary like same way you did in lists. So we hit 0, we run this. Nope, cannot do that. It's in module 3, key error 0. No, it doesn't happen. You have to use the key pair. You can do data. Let's hit F5. Now that's 30. You have to use a key pair. You cannot use indexes, you have to use a key pair. So if we remove this and hit info, hit save, run module, so there you go. It's key value pair, so you have to use the key to get the value.